Hello there, a very good evening to you and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. I hope that you had yourselves a great and productive Wednesday. Welcome to today's edition. These are the headlines. Rwanda's economy grew by 9.7% in the first quarter of 2024. A bio-waste treatment facility to convert waste into organic fertilizers was inaugurated at Nduba dam site. A very good evening to you once again, and we are very glad to have your company tonight on Rwanda Television News. And as we started off, Rwanda's economy grew by 9.7% in the first quarter of 2024, according to the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda. Figures revealed on Wednesday affirmed that projections of 6.6% increase till the end of the year are still attainable. Prince Manzi starts us off tonight.
As per data released by the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda, the GDP at current market prices was estimated at 4,486 billion Rwanda francs in the first quarter of 2024, a notable increase from 3,904 billion Rwanda francs recorded in the first quarter of 2023. Generally, Rwanda's economy witnessed a 9.7% growth in the first quarter of 2024. The notable growth is attributed to the robust performance of the service sector, with a contribution of 46%, agricultural sector at 25%, the industry sector at 23%, and the net direct taxes at 7%. While breaking down the performance of the service sector as the main contributor, Ivan Murenzi, the Director General of the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda, demonstrates that the air transport services serves as a new lookup in the development of the Rwanda service sector.
Trade services increased by 11%, and some of the key activities there is wholesale and retail trade, which increased by 21%. Transport activities increased by 13%, with air transport specifically contributing 29%, while land increased by 11%. And when we look at other services, namely hotel and restaurants, increased by 13%, financial services 6%, telecommunication services increased by 28%, public administration services also increased by 4%, education services increased by 13%, and health services increased by 14%.
The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Yusuf Murangwa, reiterates that nothing in the figures and projections that would make one worry of inflation, adding that there are policies in place that are providing good results.
Not very bad at the moment vis-a-vis where we are coming from. We are coming from inflation of around 20, 30, 40% in food inflation, so 4.7% is not bad vis-a-vis where we're coming from. And we saw some areas where prices increased a little bit, like transport, because of the investment that was done in transport and the need to make it sustainable after a long time of freezing in terms of price increases. So overall, I wouldn't say at the moment that there is a challenge with inflation. But as usual, inflation is something that we follow very closely. So we continue to follow this very closely. We saw some policy interventions bringing results. For example, the policy issues in agriculture, we saw good results. We intend to continue and also look at other areas where things might be happening, and then this is something, policies in inflation, these are policies that are continuous, they are not one-off. So every time our macro team, the central bank, follows up inflation very closely, and this is something that we'd be happy to keep on updating you.
The Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning and the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda demonstrate that the agriculture sector exhibited a growth of 7%, the industry sector experienced a growth of 10%, and the service sector grew by 11%. Prince Manzi, All TV News.
Thank you, Prince. The Rwanda Defense Force, the Rwanda National Police and other partners on Wednesday donated to citizens in different parts of the country activities worth 2 billion Rwandan francs done as part of the celebrations of the 30 years of Rwanda's liberation. Prince Manzi continues.
The activities of the joint security organs and the other partners included health services, sheltering the vulnerable, establishment of early childhood development centers, environmental conservation, and infrastructure establishment. The Rwanda National Police spokesperson, ACP Boniface Rutikanga, reiterates that the security organs take pride in their role in the well-being of the citizens.
kumva ko dufite umusanzu twatanga kugira ngo nabo tubateze imbere.
We believe that we have our role to play in the development of citizens. In actuality, security starts with the social life. When one lives well, studying well, sleep well, having good water for drinking, eat well, that is the basic security. The rest, we support each other because at the end of the day, we are part of that society living well. There's no security with no stable development and well-being. And there's no well-being and development minus security.
Nta terambere nta mibereho myiza, nta n'imibereho myiza, nta n'iterambere, nta mutekano.
From March 1st, 2024, the Rwanda Defense Force and the Rwanda National Police constructed 13 bridges across the country, 31 houses for the vulnerable, 15 early childhood development centers, distributed electricity in 327 homes, 72,000 citizens were treated, and others. We are full of joy, both the supported and citizens at large, and those who are not yet supported, they will surely be supported. Inform them that we are happy for the security organs, the officials, and the president. The Minister of Defense, Juvenal Mariza Munda, reiterates that they achieved this thanks to the joint cooperation of the security organs and citizens. Minister Mariza Munda urges residents to continue to cooperate, especially in safeguarding themselves and informing of the security threats that may rise for the achieved to be preserved. The implementation of this program, it will not be realized if no collaboration with the local authorities, citizens and partners. As we conclude this program, we also urge you that this collaboration sustain also in safeguarding ourselves, for security is the basis of sustainable development. The concluded activities of the cooperation of the security organs included also a competition of security and cleanliness that saw the best performing sector in each province awarded a brand new car.
Moving ahead to other matters, a bio-waste treatment facility to convert waste into organic fertilizers was inaugurated at Nduba dump site. The Minister of Environment, Dr. Bulletin, says this will make waste more productive than a burden. The facility will process wastes from different parts of the city of Kigali. The organic fertilizers are expected to strengthen the agriculture sector. What this means is that the city of Kigali is expanding, but we want to make sure that the environment is protected despite the increase in wastes from industries and other sources. It will be a big plus if we can separate the wastes from our homes, because that will increase the production of organic fertilizers. Separating the wastes takes a lot of time. The city of Kigali pledged to educate citizens on separating the wastes before they are sent to the dump site. Some people try to separate the wastes, but the number is still low. We will work with different partners because even during waste collection, different kinds of wastes shouldn't be put in the same waste truck. This is a wake-up call to the city of Kigali to continue the campaign and sensitization so that we can collectively achieve this goal. The Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Cooperation of Luxembourg, Xavier Bettel, who is on a working visit to Rwanda, commended the move.
First thing would be to have less waste is good. The second thing is having here 90% of being able to recycle, to reuse. It's an important step. And it's a part of responsibility for partner countries to see how we can help the city of Kigali, together with the Minister of Environment here, to have those kind of places where waste is also an opportunity, because usually it's a big problem, but waste can be an opportunity.
The sorting and recycling at Nduba dam site was funded by the Ministry of Environment, Climate and Biodiversity of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. The project was implemented in partnership with the Global Green Growth Institute. The new facility has the capacity to treat 5 tons of wastes per day for organic fertilizers. According to estimates, wastes in the city of Kigali has increased from 141 tons per day in 2006 to 495 tons currently, but it has been difficult to sort the waste out to the landfill for better utilization. As part of his visit here in Rwanda, the Deputy Prime Minister of Luxembourg, Xavier Patel, visited an early childhood development center in Gicumbi district that is supported by the Humanity and Inclusion Organization. The ECD Center for toddlers include 20 living with disabilities.
The Humanity and Inclusion Organization that is funded by the government of Luxembourg focuses its efforts on helping children living with disabilities through initiatives directed towards things like hospitals by building up their capacity to provide specialized care and equipment like prosthetics. Such initiatives are being championed by the Humanity and Inclusion Organization in districts like Gicumbi, Muhanga, Musanze and Karongi. Parents whose children are taken care of at the ECD Center in Gicumbi district, where the Deputy Prime Minister visited and spent time with the kids, commended the initiative, noting that many of their children that had previously struggled with learning are now making progress. They thanked both the governments of Rwanda and Luxembourg for the way the assistance their children are receiving has been life-changing in many ways. Gicumbi district authorities say they look forward to even greater achievements in the future. We are happy to work with good partners that help us with the development of the country and also enjoy good relations with. And he commented on that as well. He reiterated his commitment to continue supporting humanity and inclusion and encouraged us to continue working with it, saying he will back our efforts. You know that our budget always starts with the people, so we will continue working with the organization within their scope to ascertain what is required, and him supporting that is good, and he affirms that it will continue. The visit of the Deputy Prime Minister to Gicumbi district on Wednesday comes after his meeting with President Paul Kagame on Tuesday.
The Ministry of Trade and Industry stated that a political cooperation between countries is one of the key factors that will determine the future and development of the logistics industry. We do have the details with Adams Kwizera.
In the last 4 years, the economies of Rwanda and the world have been seriously affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and the outbreak of the war between Russia and Ukraine. Various local business practitioners in the logistics industry believe that their cooperation with the government has been instrumental in helping them to stand with the global crisis.
Some challenges, as I said before, regarding this pandemic. Normally it was affecting the movement from overseas, movement even inflow within the country and inter-country. As Rwanda is a landlocked country, it was somehow affected because we needed to use trucks, drivers and all to connect Dar es Salaam to Rwanda. So what happened is with the collaboration of the government of Rwanda and the private sector federation, it was organized and emphasized on using internet. So it was like trading online, communication with our suppliers, it was online.
The managing director of the Kenya Port Authority, Captain William Ruto, believes that integrating efforts across the continent is essential to closing the trade deficit gap.
What we had been requested initially by the government of Rwanda was to do 3 things. One was to provide online platform in terms of payment, which is KPA. We provide an online platform. We were here in February to launch the Cargo Pay, which is an online platform where even the importers of Rwanda can use the Rwandese francs to pay for the port charges. There's no need to pay in dollars. The other thing again was the issue of providing 24-hour service. SKPA, we do 24-hour services, which means anybody can come and pick cargo anytime.
We need to be coordinated. We need to have
The future of logistics versus the ongoing global dynamics was the central theme reiterated throughout this complex and unconsultative meeting, which brought together business practitioners, brokers, and government officials. The Minister of Trade and Industry, Dr. Jean Chrysostome Ngabitsinze, stated that political cooperation between countries is one of the key factors that will determine the future and development of the logistics industry.
Here we came as partners, policymakers, business people, and the people in charge of logistics to assess ourselves, to see where we are, and of course to see which projects we are implementing at the governmental level and private level, even if our partners trademark Africa, because they're supporting us to put some ports inside Rwanda, and of course external Rwanda, because they're working across countries. So the main purpose was to assess ourselves and to see where we are in terms to take measures where we can improve, where we can put more efforts, investment, and so on and so on.
Figures shows that export trade revenue increased from $761 million in 2020 to $1,582 million in 2023, effectively doubling over the 3-year period. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams. At the school St. Bernadette survey in Gisagara district, when the Keza Pad Bank was unveiled, students praised the initiative, noting that they were sometimes having difficulties accessing sanitary pads, which was affecting their studies.
The launch event for the product included a quiz game on reproductive health, as well as the provision of information on this important subject, with the girls at the school commending the initiative because their boarding school does not have a canteen where they can buy such sanitary products during the school term, leading to difficulties when they run out of supplies before they are able to return home to get resupplied. One of the founders of the DOPE initiative that is pushing for the Keza Pad Bank to become available in girls' schools, Abigail Gisubizo, notes that the difficulties that females encounter when they are unable to access or even afford such essential sanitary pads are hindrances enough to warrant action. Hence the reason the innovation known as the Keza Pad Bank was introduced, meant to help girls not to miss school when they are on their monthly period or fall for the temptation of receiving assistance from people who seek to take advantage of them, leading to things like unwanted pregnancies and other life-disrupting problems that may force them to drop out of school entirely. Administrators at the school St. Bernadette survey, where the initiative has first been launched, have also praised it, pointing out that not only does it provide the girls with the products they need, it has also piqued their interest in ICT because of the way the Keza Pad Bank works. The girls will be able to access their free sanitary pads from the machine using cards.
And viewers, a report brings us to the end of tonight's edition. On behalf of the entire news production, as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us on today's edition. And up until next time, stay safe and we wish you a great evening. Goodbye.